Nigerian Security Civil Defense Corps with a commandant heading them. I encourage them all to go out and ensure they prosecute properly. They are picking people and arresting people, but I'm not happy with the way they are being prosecuted. The law is there against vandalization, which can fetch somebody 27 years. But if you just go to court and say stealing or thievery, instead of charging them appropriately, that we have sat down together and we have with the legal department to ensure that they charge them appropriately. And you see, I don't think Nigeria is that bad, but I'm sad to say this, that we find ourselves in a situation where police is arresting police. Railway police, we are arresting township police, for instance, in Enugu. And Enugu police, we arrest railway police for vandalization. In Benue, for instance, police arrested army, army arrested police. So we mean there are a lot of collusion going on. And so we have to expose these things that are happening. At a time, we engage a community and ask them, bring your vigilante, I will pay you so amount every month. But the so-called elder or community leader now turn to the allocation of rail line to people. Then we have to stop and report to police. So it just, as I said earlier, we have to be selfless and be patriotic in everything we do and know that these things are our own. However, we are considering going in deploying technology, which is at a very, very huge cost. And it is going to affect the rail development. That money that would have been used for providing extra security for the system would have been used in extending or providing rolling stock. So, but we can't do otherwise than to deploy technology through satellite to ensure that if there is a bird touching the rail, we see it. If somebody is cutting the rail, that we can respond quickly. We are trying to look at that option. As a real person, I still believe that by the time we can start to run maybe every 30 minutes, that freight trains passing and passenger passing, train passing, at least the track will be, because it takes you time to go to the track and cut it. So whereas I would say I'm the luckiest person in Nigeria to have a minister that is so obsessed in delivering rail and the president. So even while we have rolling stock still waiting to be deployed, arrangements in place to order more, and with that, we can think very sooner than later, we'll go to at least within every 30 minutes, there will be a train on the track, moving freight, moving goods, moving passengers. I think that's another way of securing our track. Thank you.
Yes, let me get, thank you, Mr. Fidelis Okiria, MD NRC. Dr. Jamu, the world is talking about blue economy. I mean, and fortunately for us, the Cabotage Act has provided a lot of opportunities, for us to happen. What has been our limitations?
Well, the limitation has been the issue of maritime security. The maritime insecurity, was taking a kind of toll into this country. Before now, we used to experience problem of maritime insecurity in the Gulf of Aden, around Somalia, Yemen, and such countries. And shockingly, these things now transform itself and found itself within the Gulf of Guinea and by extension Nigeria in particular. So it's very difficult to achieve anything without security. So I call it a kind of the enabling triangle to address this issue: the good governance, the infrastructure, and then the provision of the security itself. So in terms of good governance, you must be able to have interventionary policies that is favorable, to ensure that you address those issues you mentioned. And in providing such interventionary policies, you must have a sincerity of purpose. Mr. Ikeria said that he's the luckiest person to have the minister and the president. I don't think he can claim ownership or right. If we go back to the maritime industry, the Honorable Minister give you the breakdown of units in the Federal Ministry of Transportation. We have rail, we have maritime, and then we have road transportation. And he mentioned this year it was Ministry of Works. So,
but we are seeing the difference is that we are seeing a difference between in terms of usage, usage of rail, and you know, our use of our waterways. A lot of people are shying away from our waterways because of, again, as we say, you know, insecurity. They say Nigerian waterways is the worst in terms of insecurity. That's what the rating.
So that's why I'm trying to tell my brother in the railway that I'm also the luckiest person, because just last week, Mr. President and my Honorable Minister, they were in Lagos to launch one of the most sophisticated, infrastructure to address such issues. And the Nigerians should understand that the launching of infrastructure is just an official declarations of the availability of those infrastructure. Before the launching in February, there were a lot of issues to do with secured anchorage area. And the Honorable Minister stood firmly to ensure that the right thing must be done. It's the responsibility of the government to provide security for citizenry. And here we are, a private company will come and launch a kind of maritime security without approval of the government. And they are charging, ships coming into Nigeria to pay certain amount of money for providing that security. And he stood firmly and said, no, you cannot do that. Where do you get the approval? And at whose expense you are collecting this huge amount of money? At the expense of Nigerians. The amount of money they received, if you hear, you will be shocked. And who is paying that in Nigeria? You and I and every other person that were roaming around the street. Now with these platforms, we received them. By February, we were asked, now there is no more secured anchorage area. Use the platforms you have and to go and address this issue. December 2020, we recorded, in December alone, we recorded attack of vessels coming into this country, 10. There used to be a time before December where almost every week we have to record an attack. But it gets to the toll in December where we recorded 10 different attacks. January, by the time we started utilizing this platform, we recorded 1. February, 1. I think even zeros, I can say. Either February or March, we recorded 0. And it continued to decline. We continued to see the respect from the international community. And then if you watch our own, plug off of these assets, you can listen to the Secretary General of the International Maritime Organization, what he says about the efforts we are making in terms of providing this maritime insecurity. Additionally, the ambassador to United States of America sent her defense attaché. The Gulf of Guinea sent their own representative, Prince of Gulf of Guinea from Italy. They sent their own representative in appreciation of this. So I think instead of my brother in railway to say he's the most lucky, I think I'm the most luckiest person because first of all, I must thank Mr. President and my supervising minister here for giving me a very sound monitoring and good purposeful leadership to ensure that we achieve this period. People will not realize and understand what we achieved because what we achieved so far is not only for Nigeria, it's for the entire Gulf of Guinea. And in the Gulf of Guinea, we have 32 countries. And almost hope was lost. They were confused. The Secretary General mentioned that the world, they are watching Nigeria on this issue. We are now providing the leadership in terms of providing maritime insecurity within the Gulf of Guinea for 32 countries. And among these countries, which country can come to near where we come in investing this kind of things? So the issue of maritime insecurity that we are saying now, what I'm praying for is for us, even if we are not in office, we continue to sustain the tempo.
The Deep Blue project, it's just one infrastructure
Yeah.
to deal with an aspect of maritime challenges that is bedeviling our country. There are challenges of capacity. There are challenges of technology. There are challenges of manpower. How are you resolving those?
Yes, Claire, I think you got it right. You know, in my opening statement, I made mention of the issue of good governance and interventionary policies. Now, look at the issue of shipping development, for instance. There's an interventionary policies that can address the issue of ship repairs and ship maintenance by this administration. And in so doing, we invested in, you know, procuring a floating dock. It cost us over 50 billion. The floating dock is available now, and we were unable to deploy it because of the we are looking at the right place to come. Most of the ships we have here in Nigeria, and those coming to Nigeria, within the Gulf of Guinea alone, the Nigeria alone, the ship that comes on a monthly basis is traversed to almost 1,000 ships. So there will be an issue of bunker. They will have to buy fuel, they have to buy water, they will have to buy food, they will have to repair their vessels, they will have to buy spare parts. All this, if you look at it, a kind of ripple effect of the benefits that we're supposed to get in terms of employment that you get. But we don't have the ship repairs and ship maintenance that can be able to take care of those vessels. If you have those available, you can be able to employ more Nigerians to help in maintaining those. Now, at the end of the day...
Sorry, but we have institutes that are supposed to churn out the skills, you know, to occupy those areas that you've talked about. We have the training institutes, we have, I think, Maritime Academy, we have all the... What are their specific roles in terms of, you know, filling up?
Yeah, the institute, you know, the institute can provide the professional angles of knowledge that are practical aspects, and that's what I'm telling you now. Very soon we are going to deploy the modular floating dock, and it's going to employ more Nigerians. The issue of taking your ships to go for repairs outside Nigeria, sometimes you go to Togo, Benin Republic, it's no longer going to be there. The foreign exchange that you are going to take from Nigeria to other countries to go and repair your ship in South Africa, as long as even Turkey, some of the ship owners take their ships up to Turkey. So it's no longer going to be there. Nigerians will be employed. The technical aspect of knowledge, they will learn it from that. We will now have to transfer knowledge from our own PPP. We are going to have PPP arrangement. The shipping management will come. MPA, they are there to provide us with Continental Shipyard. NIMASA, they are there to provide the modular floating dock. This floating dock is already in Nigeria. So all these things is going to be addressed. Now, on the other aspect of the institute, they are going to provide the professional angle. So in terms of technical capability and competency skills, then you have to go for practical aspect of it. And in so doing, that's where the interventionary policy that came in for us to be able to go and procure the modular floating dock and see that. Now, on the aspect of learning also, I mentioned, we discussed the maritime insecurity. You see, the provision of these platforms that we are celebrating today, which Mr. President, you know, flagged up last week, is just a kind of reactive measure. If there is any attack, we use those platforms. What are we doing to prevent that attack? So prevention. The issue of preventions now, we have to look into what are the causes. The younger Nigerians, especially in the Niger Delta areas, most of them, they don't have work. There are competent people that they can go and read, and they don't have the opportunity. Now, those who doesn't have work, we are trying to create a kind of what we call stick and carrot approach. Now, for the stick, we use the proactive measure. If you say you continue to be stubborn, we will now apply the issue of reactive measure. We go, we arrest you. The president signed into law our own Anti-Piracy Act in 2019. We started implementing it already. That act sent about 10 people to prison already. Now, on the issue of those who can read, we are now training them, not in Nigeria. So far, we trained over 2,500 young graduates outside Nigeria, Greece, UK, and what it takes for you to train somebody 4 years degree, huge amount of millions of dollars. Sure. And we are not using them only internally. We can use some of them internally in Nigeria to work. And vast majority of them, they are now in different ships all over the world. They can go and take them. So shortly, not in far distance future, this 2,500, they will be able to be returning part of their income that they are working abroad for that, to ensure that Nigeria also gets a kind of exchange, just like they are having in Philippines or Malaysia, where vast majority of amount of money they are coming as national income is from those people working in diaspora that are returning home to come with. And again, you know, we look at the issue of the provisions of spare parts. You know, we have floating spare parts all over the offshore in our own territorial waters, where Nigerians will be able to get a job and have something to do.
Okay.
Okay, now, thank you so much, Dr. Jamo. Honorable Minister, it's all about security. All the developments, all the achievements you've been talking about, which your ministry have been credited with, may turn out to note if insecurity takes toll on these facilities. Ohiri has talked about the rail lines and how insecurity seemed to be, affecting it. And on a very, humorous note, where you find a policeman, arresting a soldier arresting a policeman, and this kind of, arrest taking place, and the vandalization of these rails and the rest of them. How worried is your ministry about, securing these facilities, which you've already expended a lot of money on it? And of course, the Deep Blue Sea is one of such, and then the security is right there. We can see the impact there. What about the rails?
Well, the first is we're trying to do two things. The first one is I've met with the Chief of Army Staff, who has promised us to provide more security. I'm also going to meet with the Inspector General of Police to now fully arm the police in railway. I don't think they have enough ammunition, arms and ammunition. Then you also need to employ technology. However, for those who are using the track, I don't think they have security problem. All those, I think they've died by now. Before every week you will hear, you will read the social media, oh, they have attacked the railway. It's not true. People are just cooking up all sorts of fake news. Okay. And for me, I don't get interested because I know that if it were true, I'll get the report immediately. And in each coach, you have not less than 2 policemen. So where you have 14 coaches in the track at any point in time, that means you have about 28 armed policemen. We're trying to construct the roads by the side of the track because we are buying vehicles the president has approved to introduce those vehicles to patrol the roads we'll construct by the track. So as the train is running, that's how the cars will also be running to watch what is going on. It is not happened yet. That's why you can see that sometimes these thieves are successful. But that's not also the solution. The solution is to enforce law and order, put these men in jail. When the MD of Railway told me that he has about, is he 300 something persons in their custody and they are feeding people, so why haven't they gone to court? They say because the court is on strike. Once the court resumes and they can be prosecuted, if they are found guilty or culpable, they should be jailed. The more persons you put in jail, the better for the society.
What about technology in this regard?
I said so. I said we're also employing technology, but you can't say anything about it until the procurement process is over. So we're waiting for the procurement process to be over.
Okay.
Honourable Minister, we'll take a short break. When we come back, I'd like to also take you back on the inland waterways development and what we're doing. You're watching...
Kogi is near Onisha.
Sorry.
Kogi is near Onisha, where you have the...
All right. You're watching Good Morning Nigeria, and we're looking at infrastructural development in the transportation sector. We'll be right back.
The much anticipated UEFA Euro 2021 is finally here. Can Portugal defend the title they won 4 years ago as they face world champions France, Europe giants Germany, Spain, Italy and England? Catch all the action via live transmission, in-depth studio analysis, fixtures, results, updates, and lots more on NTA, Africa's largest TV network. For sponsorship and advert placement, contact Bola on 080-37044286 or Idris on 080-34-633-644. This broadcast is proudly brought to you by NTA in partnership with Media Business Solutions, MBS Sports.
My culture preaches peace. My culture preaches peace. My culture preaches peace. 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 My culture preaches peace.
Even our religion
Preaches peace.
if our culture preaches peace, remember your culture. Use your voter's card. Vote peacefully.
And wisely. We are one.
This message is from the National Council for Arts and Culture.
Nigerian youths are about the greatest assets the country has at the moment. It is therefore not surprising that the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is strategically responding to the yearnings of the youth through multiple projects and programs. Youth Entrepreneurship Support Years by Bank of Industry, the Youth Investment Fund by the CBN, and several other conditional cash transfer programs. Recruitment of 774,000 social workers, majority of whom are youths, and so many other projects that are beneficial to youths directly or indirectly. If the administration can do all this, definitely with a degree of patience and time, it can achieve more. Nigerian youths must come together to say no to terrorism, no to vandalism, and no to all disruptive tendencies. Hashtag Youth for Greater Nigeria. Pacifying the youths, unifying the nation.
It's the dawn of a new era on NTA's flagship program, the Sports Parliament, revitalized with lots of varieties, including feedback responses from viewers. Sports Parliament, the weekly sports show that exposes all the intrigues in the Nigerian sports sector and projects an agenda on the way forward for Nigerian sports. On NTA every Thursday at 10:30 p.m., running for 1 whole hour, discussing sports. The parliamentarians are more committed than ever to enlighten the viewers as the Sports Parliament takes it to a whole new level on the floor of the House. Keep a date with the Sports Parliament as motions are moved every Thursday on the floor of the House. Mr. Speaker, with his gavel to harmonize sports resolutions. The House have it.
You're watching Good Morning Nigeria. This morning we're talking about infrastructural development in the transport sector. Honorable Minister, let's look at other aspects of your ministry. All efforts being put in place in order to see to it that things become, better for the common man on the street, and at least looking at how goods and services could be, brought to his doorstep without having so much to pay for. The dry ports are one area that this administration seems to be giving a lot of attention to. I don't know so far how far. There are so many of them in this country, Kaduna, Ibadan, Kano, and the rest of them. How far have we gone in trying to make them fully functional, in trying to get the ports really decongested and then reduce the workload or the load on the seaports in this country?
The two dry ports that are functioning for now are the ones, are they functioning? One in Kaduna is functioning. That one I'm sure of. But the one of Kano is under construction. I was at the site. He promised that in 6 months it will be ready. And I told him I'll be there in 6 months. Why did I say that? I visited the one in Plateau, and they also assured me that it will be ready in 6 months. 3 years after, it's taken off, but it's not ready. I believe they were concession to individuals, Nigerians. And most of those that were concession to have not shown any strength or capacity to bring them to completion and fruition. The one that will be of interest to all of us Nigerians will be the one that the Chinese are building in Ibadan. That will look different from the rest, and I believe that the pace of work will be faster, and then cargoes could be moved into that. By the way, how many cargoes do you have in the country? The estimation is that you have about 30 million tons of cargo coming through Lagos. You have about 11 million tons of cargo coming through Port Harcourt. I don't think that you have up to 5 in Warri and in Calabar. So Nigeria is not a productive country.
How do you mean?
What do you produce? That's why you can do 30 million tons of cargo. So there are no cargoes going out because you're producing nothing. You're only importing. And what you're importing is not even enough. But you import literally everything. Most people don't know we import meat. All these Fulani herdsmen, Yoruba herdsmen, Igbo herdsmen. It's only the minority that, we're underprivileged. We don't have herdsmen. Since they all have herdsmen, they should give us our own herdsmen. We import meat. What I'm not sure is whether we're still importing fish. Because when President Buhari came, he said, no, he refused. We used to import eggs and poultry.
That's because the infrastructures, are not developed. And we have people who are supposed to be doing that.
That's because Nigerians
fish, for instance.
That's because Nigerians don't wait for long gestation. They want quick money right away. I want to be a rich man now. They don't want to know that if you start producing chicken, it will take you 14 to 20 years to make the kind of billions you make in oil. So every Nigerian you meet, I gave an example of Nimasa. The same thing with the workers. Nobody approaches me to say, well, I want to work in an NRC. Because an NRC is 14,000 naira or 20, I don't know if you get there. But Nimasa is double that salary of this. So anybody you see, please help me now, put me in Nimasa. So if you check Nimasa before the week, I'm sure we've added, I said it when I was interviewed 2 years ago, we've added to the problems of Nimasa, which is political. By the time we took over, Nimasa was overemployed by 1,000 persons. So when we took over, I'm sure we added, and we added because, not for political reasons, because you had only Southerners more in Nimasa than Northerners. So when Dakuku met me, he said, sir, this is lopsided. Between the South and Southeast, they've taken over the whole Nimasa. So we need to create an opportunity to bring in more Northerners, even if we don't balance it, but let it be a seeming thing. So it is about production. We're not producing. We're a consuming nation. We consume everything. Okay, we even take the delight in saying, I'm just coming down from Ghana. See Ghana. I'm just coming down from Togo. Benin Republic. What mentality? So, for me, what's my responsibility? Provide the necessary logistical infrastructure that enables production. That's my responsibility. That's the direction of the president. That's what I'm doing.
Yes, Honorable Minister, at transportation, they say it doesn't matter, where you're sited, but what you do with it, the connections and of course, the barrier, breakdowns. So if we're not producing, why building infrastructures? Why, the linkages, dry ports, and all that? Why are we doing all this?
You didn't hear me.
Yeah.
If you heard me very well, I said, that's why the president has moved away from the rent culture. Rent culture where we wait at the end of the month. How much do you get from oil? They say $20 million. Then transport take, works take, everybody take, River State, Imo State, Kano, everybody just takes, they come at the weekend. Then you visit the governor, or forget governor, let me use myself as an example. So you visit the Minister for Transport, and as you're leaving, clear, how are you say, fine, take $10,000. You go home, my husband, Amechi is a good man, he gave me $10,000. You didn't ask me where I got the money. My salary is $960,000, which is below even $3,000. So you take $10,000, you go home, you give your husband $5,000. Your husband takes $2,000, pays children's school fees, buys uniform. The man who got the money for children's school fees buys granite. The granite seller buys a goosey, the goosey seller. That's the economy we had. All dependent on that oil, this thing. And the president is saying, no, we can actually feed ourselves first. We don't have to import eggs. That's how we stopped all those importations. I hear there's a glut. I hear there are no eggs now in the market, but he had put the infrastructure in place for you to invest in egg production, for you to invest in poultry. A lot of people are not interested because the return is not as fast as getting contract for oil, right? He's put infrastructure in place so that the tomato producer in Kano can transport to the market in Lagos in a lower cost that makes him make profit. So for President Buhari, in my own calculation, he is trying to put those infrastructures that enables production to take place. Then the rest will be for the investor, the Nigerian investor, to decide to invest. But Nigerian investors are not interested in that yet.
Okay, let me go to inland waterways. Earlier you talked about the fact that there were challenges, but that they are working. I know when the Baru port was, commissioned, there was so much noise about it. The Onitsha port is there. We've made so much noise about that. What happened to the dredging of the channels, making them more viable, more navigable?
For what? Let's assume now that I wake up and meet Mr. President and say, Mr. President, I need 100 billion naira to be able to make the water navigable. The Baru, the water, the River Niger and River Benue. Who are the people to use it?
So we must wait until we have people to use it. Is it not part of infrastructure?
I like Nigerians. We're very arrogant as if we're rich. We're one of the poorest countries in the world. Now, the president is building railways, right? And it will get to Baru. It will get to Minna. It will get to Onitsha. I'm not saying it is wrong to have those ports. It wasn't by us. We just met it and completed them. Now, if, therefore, it takes me 8 hours or 5 hours to Lagos, in which all the cargo, let's assume I produce in Minna, and I drop it up, because we're taking railway to Minna. So I drop the cargo on the wagon, and in 5 hours, my cargo arrives in Lagos. Will it not be cheaper and better that I use that than to now put it on our inland waterways and take it through another 10, 15 hours to Lagos? Which is faster. Now that's one. Two, the cost of dredging, because it silts regularly. It's not as if you dredge today, you rest for 10, 15 years, you don't come again. If you dredge today, you must dredge next year. And it silts almost every day. But again, the last time I made a comment about Baru, I had political backlash. That's why I've been avoiding that question. Because one young man asked me, Minister, why is Baru not working? And I said, listen, I've been proven right that you can't put Baru and expect it to work when the draft of the water is less than 3 meters. Which vessel will go there? And National Assembly members from Niger and people start harassing me. So now when they ask me about Baru, we're working. They ask me about Onitsha, we're working. But the truth is, if I'm from Baru or if I'm from Minna or I'm from Onitsha, and I'm a businessman, I prefer that you take a rail to Onitsha and I move my cargo to either Port Harcourt or Lagos in less than 3 hours than to wait for nearly a day for my cargo to come from Lagos by water. And for the country, it's cheaper. It's cheaper because you do railway investment, which is huge, and then you do maritime investment, which is huge. I hope that I will not be misquoted by other presidents.
Sure, you won't be for sure. Dr. Fidel Okiria, let's hear your views about ticket racketeering. All this have been put across for Nigerians to have things easy and have very good time on these trains, wherever they may be going to, especially from Abuja to Kaduna, from Lagos to Ibadan. You see, you're watching, you've seen what's happening in Kaduna, Abuja, Kaduna, and of course you're trying to see what you can do about Lagos, Ibadan. Ticket racketeering is a very, very serious issue along this road, talking about Kaduna, Abuja, and of course, having placed it on the net and you've got to go there to get it, it seems as if not all people do that, because by the time you go there, all the seats have been booked. And you've got to go to the stations in order to start looking for them and you get it. What are you doing about that, and how are you trying to address this and looking forward to Lagos, Ibadan?
People talk about ticket racketeering. As a person, I don't talk about the problem, I talk about the solution. Because most of the time, either the minister is called, I'm called that I bought ticket at a higher rate, and we ask them who sold the ticket, and they will not bring the person. Why? Because they want to patronize the person tomorrow. So, and there is nothing we can do about that. From there, we progress to e-ticketing, hoping to wipe the ticket racketeering. People now take it as a profession. Before I go on, somebody even took us to court that they have the right to buy tickets and resell. But unfortunately for him, we defeated him in the court. That was in Kaduna. Then we went to e-ticketing. When we started, the day we started, the internet was let loose. It's not working. It's working. It's not working. But I know as of today, nobody, I think for the past 2 weeks, I have not been called to say, the only thing they will tell you that I tried to buy ticket and it's all bought up. And it's true, it's all bought up. We limited that at a time you go to buy ticket, you can buy maximum of 2. You have to repeat it. And when you repeat second time, the system will not accept you. And most people who try to buy, because they have multiple email, they forget the email they use in registering, and they will not be able to buy a ticket. So the problem, as I say, is that demand outnumbers supply. So in the next 2 weeks, we are deploying the DMU, diesel multiple unit, in Kaduna, Abuja. So by deploying that, we have what we call 3 rigs. That is 3 sets of trains that we hope to do, I think, 10 or 12 trips a day. And you can now pick your time and buy your ticket. People hardly come to the station these days to buy tickets. Somebody called me that he came to the station to buy ticket.